What's good, everybody? Welcome to Bowler's Paradise. My name is Ben. I'm a USBC Silver Certified Coach, and today we are taking a look at the all-new Summit Peak from Storm. Before we get it going, be sure you're subscribed. It's free, it's easy, and it is the best way to help us bring you the best non-biased and cross-brand reviews in bowling. While you're down there, be sure you hit that notification bell too so you don't miss out on the next review. Storm's new AI technology gets its next iteration in the all-new Summit Peak. Following in the footsteps of the original Summit, the Marvel Pearl, and the Soniq, this all-new Summit Peak features the super low RG and high differential Centripetal HD core. For the cover, Storm concocted the all-new TX23 Pearl cover stock finished with their reactagloss polish, which is essentially the juiced up version of what was featured on the recently released Journey. Considering all of that, I decided to go with a 4¼ by 5½ by 4 2LS layout. Besides just being a mouthful of numbers, this layout is a strong continuous benchmark style layout for me. Normally, I don't put the mass bias to PAP measurement above 5 inches, but with so much core in this thing, I wanted to do as much as I could to make sure it wouldn't puke through the pins. That combined with the shorter pin to PAP distance was meant to amplify the likely reality that this piece was going to be best at opening up the lane and creating big angles off the spot. And on the lanes, I was actually pretty impressed with the control I had in the track area with this one from Storm. The outside part of the lane was pretty much unusable, but once I got to a place where I had enough push to get it to the pocket, the Summit Peak looked pretty good. What's more is that even though this one uses that reactagloss finish, it didn't automatically feel like I needed to knock the shine off of it, which is a great change of pace for this finish. But my favorite part about throwing this Summit Peak was how on the good hits, it just dead split the 8/9 every time. That is my favorite thing to see as a bowler, and when it's right, it is the ultimate confidence booster. That's a feature I don't see all too often in most new releases, as they're most often either very continuous all the way through the pins, or they lay off and kind of deflect on purpose. But sometimes your greatest strength is also your greatest weakness, and on the hits that didn't split the 8/9, the results were not there. In fact, in all my test shots, I only caught one lucky hit with it, which, with how bad I am at repeating shots, is not a great thing. The good hits pushed 10 pins straight into the pit, which is awesome, but needing the ball to go through the pins that perfectly to get all 10 to go is a dangerous game for most. But I think if you were to pair this one with the Storm DNA and the Hustle M&M, you'd be able to offset that weakness pretty well for a couple of reasons. One, each of these three pieces has a highly unique path to and through the pins, so if one isn't working to get all 10 to go, trying a different piece is almost certain to yield different results. And two, this pairing would allow you to match the Summit's surface up as necessary to get as ideal a shape as you can out of it. Shiny might not always be the answer, so having a super versatile DNA and the clean and flippy M&M with you would allow you to take that surface to whatever grit you need and not shut yourself out. Moving to our cross-brand comparisons, I grabbed the Ethos from Brunswick, and you can see here how this one and the Summit like the same part of the lane, but as the Ethos has a number of games on it, it is a bit weaker overall. But even though it might not have the hook potential it did fresh out of the box, the off hits were much more effective. The Ethos has trended more towards being a good on everything type of piece, while the Summit Peak is more of a niche, high risk, high reward type of shape. Then I grabbed the Storm Journey, and what I see is one, a ton of overlap between this and the Summit, and two, between the Summit, the Journey, and the Roto-Grip Duo, the only question is, how forward do you want the ball to be through the pins? They're all of similar strength, with the Journey being the weakest, but the Journey is also the most continuous, while the Summit is a little bit more forward through the pins and the Duo is the most forward. As your axis rotation increases, typically those more forward options will suit you more effectively. But with that, here's my recommendations on the types of bowlers that I think would match up well with the Summit Peak. The first is balanced bowlers. I think the folks with a matched up ball speed and rev rate, and especially those that match up really well with the Phase 2, are going to love the Summit Peak. Being able to play more to the outside part of the lane and use some early friction seems to be a key to success with this one, and that's the balanced bowler's bread and butter, so this would make a great addition to their arsenal. The second recommendation is for tournament bowlers. To be honest, even though this one splits the 8/9 more than anything I've seen in a while, I think it's going to require a trained eye to maximize what you can truly get out of it. This is a niche piece, which means you want to have it with you when you need it, but the occasions where it's going to be great are limited. If you're carrying 3 to a league, there may be some better choices, but if you're carrying 12 to a tournament, I think it would be quite wise to have this one with you. The all-new Summit Peak might not be the peak performing bowling ball for every bowler, but in the right hands and in the right part of the lane, you're sure to see a new peak in your scores. And you can pick this up today and much more at bowlersparadise.com. Be sure to use the discount code YouTube at checkout for free shipping. Thank you to my friend Nick Pluff for the drilling of this piece, and to Dale's Weston Lanes for letting us film this video. If you haven't yet, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for more ball and product reviews. But as always, remember you guys, having the right ball in your hands, now that's a bowler's paradise. Peace.